Today we're going to do an oil change on a 2014 Ford Escape. I pulled the vehicle up on rhino ramps and then put the jack stands underneath it as a secondary precaution. Enter the vehicle through the driver's side door, pull the release latch, and pull up on the emergency brake. The safety release latch for the hood is a little bit off to the left. On the passenger side, it's yellow. So like if you look underneath, you'd find it right here. When you slide over, it's right here. And you just push it towards the right and it'll release. Take to secure the hood. As we look into the engine bay from the front of the vehicle, what we're looking for is the oil fill cap and the oil dipstick, which is a yellow ring on most of the newer models. And then what we're looking for is where the oil filter is. And as I look down, it appears to be straight down on the bottom side of the engine, straight underneath. And I'll show you from the underside of the carriage. So we get underneath the vehicle to find the oil filter and the oil pan. We find that there's a protected underneath it that's connected by 4 screws across the front, 4 screws across the back. And it looks like there's supposed to be a screw here and a screw over here that's not there, but we'll remove those first and then I'll show you. So I'm going to use a T25 bit to pull these out. Okay, now that we've removed that shield, just to let you know, I said that there were 4 screws across the back. There's only 3. So what we're looking for first is this. Here's the oil pan, here's the oil drain plug, and then right here, right above this here, right here I have my hand on it, is the oil filter. And so we'll reach up through here and take that off when that time comes. First we'll remove the oil drain plug. So again, here's your oil pan, here's your oil drain plug. It takes a 13mm socket, and then it's been torqued to 21 foot-pounds of pressure, so it might be a little tight. If it is, you can always just take your socket wrench and when you put it on, take a rubber mallet and tap the socket wrench to get it to release, to start. And then once you break it, then it obviously becomes easy. Okay, so then I like to loosen it and then use an extension to take it off the rest of the way, so that then I don't lose the bolt in the oil pan, and I can get out from the stream of the oil. So when you take the oil plug, you want to make sure you wipe it down pretty well. You can use a paper towel or cloth. One of the big things that you want to get is this seal right here. Make sure you clean that off real well because that's what's going to seal back to the engine and keep your oil from leaking. Now that the oil is finished draining, what we're going to do is we're going to replace the oil drain plug. What you want to do is make sure that you wipe this area down real well, that it's nice and clean so that you make a good seal. You want to make sure that it's hand tight first and that you've got no leak, and then we're going to torque it to 21 foot-pounds of pressure. All right, so we set the torque wrench to 21 foot-pounds of torque or pressure, and so we're going to now put it in, and then all we do is you just tighten until you feel, and then it'll click just like that. And when you feel that, then you're done. So we pulled the oil pan forward. The oil filter is right up here, just underneath in the engine. So what we're going to do is we're going to go, it should be hand tight, so we're going to go ahead and loosen it. All right, so I just reach under and I start to kind of twist at it. And once I feel like it start, then I use my my paper towel, my rag, so that I can try and keep the oil as much off of me as possible. So then you just kind of angle it down and pull it out. Doesn't want to slip past that. Okay, hold on. So you just kind of slide it over just a little bit, and then slip it out. And then you want to take your towel and clean up any of that excess oil that spilled out, so that you and you want to keep your engine as clean as you can. And then just like with the oil drain plug, you want to wipe that seal where the oil filter is going to sit. You want to make sure that that's clean. So then just reach up in there and wipe it down. Okay, so now we're going to replace the other filter with this AMSOIL EA 15K51. This filter is rated for 12,000 miles or 1 year, whichever comes first. Oh, that reminds me, one of the things you want to do on the old filter, double check to make sure that the seal came off with the filter, that it's not stuck on the engine, the old filter. In addition, you want to take some of the new oil and dab a little bit on your finger, and we're going to put it on the seal of the new filter. This will help create a seal on the engine. Not too much, just enough to wet it down. And you want to use new oil, not old oil. Using the old oil is like rubbing dirt on the seal, and it won't make a good seal. All right, so now what we're gonna do is just kind of reverse process, just kind of slide it up through that spot that we brought it out of. Oops. And then set it in place. And then if you make sure you're on the threads, you can just slowly start to turn it in place. That way then you make sure that you don't strip it. And you just want to make sure that it's hand tight. Okay. So now that you've got it hand tight, what you want to do is now really kind of grip it and give it about another quarter turn, so that you know that it's on there well. Okay. All right, so what we're installing today is the 5W20. This is the AMSOIL XL. 100% synthetic motor oil. This is good for 12,000 miles or 1 year. So I'm going to show you how we're going to install. This is a 1.6 liter, and what this says is that you're going to put 4.4 fluid ounces. AMSOIL actually recommends 4.3, so we'll check it as we go. And then as you can see on the oil fill cap, it recommends the 5W20. Insert your filter and pour in your first quart. So as I open up the second quart and get ready to pour, we're gonna go ahead and pour the first 4 quarts in. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna start the car up and double check for leaks. And if we find no leaks through either from the filter or from the oil pan, we'll pull the car off the ram jacks and jack stands to level it, and then add in the last 0.3, 0.4 liters to get it to fill. So like I said, this is the 4th quart. When we finish this, we'll go ahead and put the oil fill cap back in. Obviously take the funnel out, put the oil fill cap back on. We'll actually get in the vehicle, then start it up, and then check for leaks. And then if we're good, then we'll pull it off the ram jacks and jack stands. So now that we started the engine, we're gonna look underneath the engine to make sure that we have no leak. Okay, so first, oil pan, no leaks on the drain plug. Oil filter, no leaks. Ready? Okay. No leaks on the oil drain plug. No leaks on the oil filter. Okay, so before you take the vehicle off the jack stands and ram jacks, make sure you replace the guard underneath so that it's easier and you have room. All right, so now that we have the car level, we're gonna check the oil level, and then we're gonna add the last 0.3. So it looks like the mark is right there, halfway in between, but I'm gonna check it on the other side. And you can see that it's right there, just a little bit above that notch. So I'm gonna add a little bit more, just to kind of see, about 1/3 of a quart. All right, so now I'm gonna add about 1/4 of a quart, just to kind of see where we're at, because I don't want to add too much. I want to make sure that we're right where we need to be. Okay, so I'm gonna let that drain down for a second, and then we're gonna check our oil level again. And then you can see it's almost to that 2nd notch. So we're gonna call it good. So I return the dipstick, pull the filter, replace the oil fill cap, and close the hood.